Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We're at the Olivet City Council Center. And we are in the City Council Chambers at 1140 Dealman Road in Olivet, Missouri, 63132. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Clark,
Here.
Councilmember Waldman,
Here.
Councilmember Knox,
He's here.
Unmute. He's here with palm trees in the background.
Here.
Chairman Carl,
Here.
Mayor.
Here. Next item, please.
Next item is communications. Mayor, we had no written communications.
Okay. If anyone that's watching on Zoom, if you wish to be a part of communications, please raise your hand. No? Oh, I'm sorry. I got confused. City managers report.
Hey, good evening. Just a couple updates on some things going on. Youth Baseball League registration is closed and we have had a great increase in participation this year. Baseball has been, as you know, youth baseball has been declining over the years. So it's great to see this kind of coming back. Let you know that Don LaChance, Assistant Director, his last day with the city was Thursday, March 16th, and we wish him well. And then on March 4th, we had the Holy Fest and at Stacy Park, and the attendees were estimated to be in excess of 4,000 people. Couple of things with the police. Sergeant Hoffmeister was presented the Olivet Police Department Officer of the Year Award at the Creve Coeur Olivet Chamber of Commerce. And if you read the police department monthly update, you'll note that they are doing a few kind of green initiatives. One is the parking pavilion in the back is going to be is going to have not sunroof, the solar. Thank you. Solar roof. The flock cameras that we're purchasing will are all solar powered. And the bikes we have the regular bikes, and we're getting also the electric bikes so that they can be used kind of more efficiently in various areas, and the officers can get places more quickly. Bates Utility, they are the firm that's working on the sanitary line project. They are currently kind of at Dealman Rock Island, or the future segment is going to be Dealman Rock Island. They're currently going under the UP Railroad spur, which is kind of closer to the east side of the boundary of the city. They will be installing a main at the channel crossing over into Indian Meadows. They will be restoring the channel when it's done. You might recall when they started this process, we coordinated, Bruce McGregor coordinated with MSD to ensure that none of the work that they do at Indian Meadows interferes with the work that we were doing in preparation for the Greenway and our park improvements. And so that coordination has worked very well. Missouri American Water is completed their main work on Angleton, Cordell, and Green Oaks. We have gotten the agreement for the asphalt replacement work, and we anticipate that work occurring in the last 2 weeks of April or early May. Comprehensive plan, I wanted folks to remember remind folks that we have verification. We do have a new website just for the comprehensive plan. You can reach it. It's olivetcompplan.com. You can also get to it through the city's website. And this page gives you a little bit more information on what is a comprehensive plan. It allows you to take the community survey. which I really encourage everyone to do. This is really the first phase of that community involvement. And we really encourage everyone to have their input in this. It'll allow you to say kind of, what is a comp plan, what is not a comp plan, and then it'll look at the plan topics. So that you can kind of look and see, so if community identity, well, what does that mean? And it kind of gives you those critical questions where we'll be looking at how can Olivet make all residents feel included, connected, and valued? What can the city do to bridge the differences north and south of Olive Boulevard? So it's really a great kind of place to go and think and get your head kind of wrapped around this idea of this 10, 20-year plan. Back here, we have the Indigenous Herbs of North America sale is Thursday, March 30th here at the City Center. And Camp O registration is happening. It's already that time of year for summer camp. So remind everybody to do that. Upcoming events, City Council work session is April 4th at 7 p.m. Planning and Community Design Commission is April 6th at 7 p.m. City Council regular meeting is April 11th at 7 p.m. Coffee with the Mayor is on a Tuesday, April 18th at 6:30 p.m.
At Old Bonham.
At Old Bonham School, correct? So that's been, so let folks know that's going to be an introduction to the Old Bonham School's new early childhood education program. Park and Recreation Commission is April 19th at 7 p.m. Planning and Community Design Commission, April 20th. And the Economic Development Commission is, that should be April 27th. Sorry about that. So we'll fix that. And with that, happy to answer any questions that you folks might have.
Thank you very much. There aren't any questions at this time. Next item, please.
Next item is city council reports.
We'll start at the far end with Councilmember Waldman.
Thank you very much. I don't have anything to report at this time. Mr. Trejo provided an excellent summary to us in his report. Very accurate. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Clark,
I have nothing to report at this time.
Councilmember Knox,
I have nothing to report.
Councilmember Carl.
Ditto.
I did attend the Parks and Recreation meeting, and I think all the highlighted points that I was going to make about it were covered in the city manager's report. So I was very impressed with that 131% increase with the softball. So on to the next item.
Next item is hearing from citizens.
Now, if there's anyone in the Zoom that would like to speak at this time, please raise your hand and we'll bring you over. And if not, is there anyone in the room that would like to speak at this time? Okay, then we'll move on to our next item.
Item number 6 is Armanino Phase 1 report on equity, diversity, and inclusion.
And I'm going to turn this over first to Barb to tee up for us.
Okay. Also, council will remember in October of 2022, you engaged Armanino to assist with kind of in a phase 1 for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And what you were hoping to find was kind of develop a baseline. Where are we as a business, as an entity, not as a city, but really just looking at it kind of as a business. And with that, they collected a lot of information. They did in-person interviews. They did an online survey, and they're here tonight to give a presentation of their kind of a summary of the where they're at with their phase 1 and a draft final report. With that, I'm going to kick it over to Armanino. If you guys just want to all introduce yourselves and explain how you've worked with this process.
Sure. Good evening, everyone.
You need to turn on your microphone.
And before I do, may I acknowledge your company for being one of the top best places to work according to the St. Louis Business Journal. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Since my mic wasn't on, I'll repeat what I said. My name is Ron Steinkamp. I'm a partner in Armanino. I've been in, government, started out with the Army and worked for quite a bit of time with Comptroller Darlene Green, City of St. Louis, as her chief audit executive. And since then have been in professional consulting and now with Armanino. I was not a key member of this team. I'm going to let the key members talk because they do all the work. So I'm going to turn it over to Tamika Mitchell first.
Thanks, Ron,
Tamika, just let me know when you want me to start the presentation.
okay, we'll do that. So I'm Tamika Mitchell and I'm the senior manager leading this project. You all may recall Bianca Sarak. She's the partner who's been working with us. So she was not able to attend tonight, but myself and we got Terry, our Olivet long living Olivet member as well.
Hi, everyone. Terry O'Connor. I'm a senior staff member with Armanino and just supported Tamika and Bianca as in a staff support role. And glad to be here with everyone and excited about presenting our results tonight.
So first of all, I want to applaud you. Not many communities do this and are willing to take this step. We wish more would. So, to the council, the mayor, the administration, Barbara, I know, working with you on this, it's something you're passionate about and everybody I think here is passionate about. So I want to applaud you for taking this step forward. I think there's some interesting information that is going to be presented here tonight. But again, this is a first step. There are more to come, right? So the key here is to realize there's always going to be room for improvement. And this is just the first step and make sure that we continue along this path forward. But again, I want to congratulate you and I want to thank you for bringing us aboard this trip with you because it's always interesting. These are the projects that we love to do where we really feel like we can help, right? I was talking to Terry before. We do a lot of accounting and auditing type stuff, not the most fun stuff, right? This is the stuff where we can really help a community and we love to do it. So again, thank you for that. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tamika. She's going to go through the presentation with you and, hopefully, there's some things here that you can take away and think about and work on. All right. Thank you.
So Barbara, if you want to pull up the slides.
Oops. Hold on a second. Get here. Trouble with my mouse, sorry. Okay, you should have control now.
Alrighty,
You have the. there
let's
you
try it
go.
out.
Give it a shot. There you go.
All right, it's working. So first to our agenda. So here's what we will cover tonight. And as always, we want this to be a collaborative process, so feel free to jump in. I know you will. I know you will, Missy. Ask questions and are we allowed to take questions from the audience as well? No.
But if I can, I should have kind of teed this up as far as tonight, what the expectation. You're not making any decisions tonight. You're really listening to the presentation, and then you'll set another meeting with Armanino to kind of go over, and that's when you'll start really discussing the report and next steps. We don't want you to move too quickly to next steps without really having had an opportunity to look at the final report. And the final report you won't have this evening. They're still making some edits on that report, but you'll have it then shortly after that.
And our intention is that we will set up a special workshop to after we've had a chance to digest, and then we'll regroup with you.
Okay. And to Barbara's point, we want to make sure that the final report has agreed upon recommendations. So we like to, again, collaborate. We don't just want to throw the entire world out, right? We want to actually have some strategic recommendations that are able to be implemented. So as a summary of the project, this is kind of where we've been. We held listening conversations. We did the rose, bud, thorn exercise. So we had 2-hour discussions, both with the city council as well as the management team. Those were very insightful. We then actually conducted employee surveys in February and got really good participation. About 60% of the employees responded to the survey. And then we also reviewed policies, procedures, and ordinances related to the topics you see here. Most of the work was concentrated based on your internal business, but we also assess the city of Olivet and the some of what you can do in the neighborhood as well. So in terms of where you are, these are like 4 steps, and we think you all are in between like the aspirational and compliance area, because it's like you're interested, you have some awareness around DEIB. You have some community relations that you've started to invest in, some communications, and on the social media front, and trying to connect with the community, right? So between there and the compliance area is around more metrics. You do have some reporting available, but that's obviously a growth area. So where we really want to go is kind of move you from aspirational compliance to more the performance and integrated piece. And so in those stages, we would actually start to see some DEI metrics. We would have goals, we would have strategies, and just like any other evaluation, we would do regular measurements. You know, how are we tracking? How are we trending towards those goals? So that's really the next step that where we would want to see you go. And then finally, the integrated phase is where you would basically have DEI embedded in everything you do before you make any strategic decisions, before you decide on, you know, building a new apartment complex, before you decide on a new vendor. All of these things would have that DEI lens connected to it. So I mentioned that we had those conversations, those interviews, the surveys, and then your policies, right? So what we've done here is try to highlight some of the key agreements and the key differences in these different fields, right? So on the agreement side, it's great because everybody agreed that there are barriers. Everybody agreed that we don't really have great definitions around what diversity means versus equal representation. So one of the things we noted is the city of Olivet is very diverse. And then, but if you ask employees, what does that mean? Is the city of Olivet diverse? It doesn't mean the same thing, right? So you ask the same question and you get different answers. So that was one thing that was consistent, that we don't have a consistent definition around that. We do have consistent the desire to improve the city, which is great. We have very good management support around it, collaborative environment, and And all of that is really good to help us to kind of get to where we're going. I think that gives you a head start, knowing that, you know, the management is on board and the employees actually feel that. In terms of the policies, everyone agrees that sensitivity, cultural training, harassment training, all of those things have not been done and are necessary. So that you'll see later, that's one of our very quick, small wins that you can probably implement pretty soon, right? The city council, more diversity is needed, and everyone agreed with that as well. And again, with a lack of diversity in the council, there does come some, I guess, some blind spots around cultural awareness. So what you don't experience, where you are not, it's hard for you to really understand sometimes another person's perspective. So it's important that that the council understands that and does some of the training to try to tackle some of those barriers. And then again, managers are creating positive work environments. So all good things and all areas where there is agreement. So the difference is leadership and staff view diversity differently. So the leaders see the diversity again in a more positive light, and the staff don't always feel that. Leadership is management. Yep. So it's easy to think as a leader that, you know, you are, and, you know, in your mind and in your actions, you know, your efforts may feel one way, but they are not necessarily always received that way. And I think that's key. And again, that's not abnormal. It's around bridging those gaps to make sure that our intended consequences actually reach the receiver. In terms of management support, the department leaders believe they have strong staff interactions. And I guess we do have some barriers here around feeling free to share and communicate ideas from the staff's perspective. Yes, please do.
So as this is a differentiator, it may seem a little counterintuitive, but I felt it was important to point this out because this, from the staff's point of view, they didn't always necessarily feel that not everyone felt that they had the support of their management. But when we looked at the management side, we saw that they really valued their employees. So I wanted to make sure that that was documented.
Thanks, Sarah. Around policies, leadership, and recruitment, leadership sees that as a positive thing where staff kind of feel like it's a miss. And we also heard concerns around making sure we're not just hiring to fill, to meet a metric, but to make sure that you're still hiring the most qualified candidates. Now, I do understand that as a concern, and I do think it's important to address that in diversifying, it does not mean really that you're lowering your standards at all. If you seek, you shall find kind of thing. It's just thinking about different ways, going to different places, engaging in different partnerships that will help you to reach those diversity goals. And then we have, and this is not specific to diversity, but there were concerns over pay and that other cities will pay more for the same positions, as well as staff not feeling that their pay is necessarily equivalent to their job performance. So regarding the council, again, we noted that the council was very committed to this process. But there are concerns around not having the sensitivity training and the cultural training to really be able to set the right tone around DEIB. And then finally, the environment. This area is important because as you can see, there's a more negative, more negative comments around this. So staff really not feeling supported in being able to share grievances. And again, it's where you need to just better establish a system where complaints are heard, complaints are properly reviewed, and that employees do not feel like, negative consequences will come from sharing and reporting issues. And then, as you can see there, we have 40% of respondents reported witnessing some form of harassment, lack of, and feeling lack of safety. And then leadership and staff with different interdepartmental dynamics. So this, again, area for improvement.
I think, Tamika, I want to go back, if you don't mind, to that 40% witnessing harassment. We talked a little bit about this when I talked with them a little bit about that. What is harassment? And I think that the definition of that is kind of important to know, in that it is insensitive, it goes to your actual harassment, whether that be racial or sexual, et cetera. But it also encompasses the jokes, the jokes that are of that, that they make a joke and it makes other people uncomfortable. It is the, so it's that bigger, it's a bigger definition. It does, and that's not to minimize what that number is. But it is about kind of it's not the, it's that whole feeling of feeling respected and comfortable in that workplace, where there's not going to be something said that's insensitive or
Yes.
taken.
Yes, so we'll see. People may make sexist jokes, share jokes or memes around race, and it may be funny to one person or even a whole group, and the same joke can make another person feel completely unwelcome. It can make you feel like you don't belong, or if you have some situation in which you identify with who is being laughed at, all of those things can make a person feel unsafe. And that's really kind of what we're working against, right? And so, like I said, we haven't defined the definitions around harassment, what's unsafe. We haven't defined those things, but just understanding that all of those do play a part in making people feel like they belong and feeling included and safe. So we organize the recommendations really within these 6 pillars, how you can incorporate into your planning and your strategy, right? As your council is developing your, the next 3 to 5 year plans, right? How can you include this? Some things that you can do around training and employee development, hiring and getting new talent, and then how you can update your ordinances to be more diverse, some of the community outreach and opportunities that you have around better connecting to the citizens and changing the reputation of all of it. And then finally, supplier diversity and how you can really tackle that. So in the strategic planning and goal setting, and we mentioned this to Barbara, this universe is very big, right? You have a lot of things that are important to you as a council. We have a lot of things that's important to you, like in the city and as a resident, and everybody has their own thing that's important to them. So we really have to try to figure out, as you think through what can and should be done, think through what's impactful, but also what has to be done maybe first, second, and third, because this can be very big, a big process. So we note here a DEI task force or a commission. The one thing I want to caution around this is if you take your current population and create a task force, we've already all agreed that the group is not very diverse, right? So we don't want a non-diverse group to go create another non-diverse group, right? So we have to be cautious and to Barbara's point, think through and talk through this process. We want to set specific goals and of course, figure out not only how we're going to implement those, but monitor those and have some actionable reporting and things like that. In terms of hiring and talent attraction, we kind of looked at what you're currently doing. We see that there's a lot of wide open opportunities for you to partner with minority groups to expand your pool. We heard about, it's hard to find engineers, and it's like certain jobs, they're very niche. Accounting is one. It's hard to find accountants, but there are minority accountants, right? So it's more so making sure you're partnering with the right groups to find the types of candidates you really need to you really need to attract. Along with that, expanding the job advertisements, and then updating the interview processes. This is another one of those things where we don't necessarily know that you're doing anything wrong, but there is a way in which you can filter through applicants. There's a way in which you can interview applicants that will make them feel welcome or unwelcome to an organization, right? So just going through those processes to make sure that that DEIB is included in all of that. And then the last one there, we have really working to change the perception of the city. So it's very difficult. And we talked about this in our interviews with both the leadership and the council, that Olivet has a perception of being a certain way. So if you don't fit into the way in which, into the perceived perception, or you feel like you wouldn't be welcome, or you feel like you would not be successful there, then it really is not a top choice for you to want to go and work there. So just working through some of the things that you can do as you make these changes, making sure we're communicating them right and communicating them to the right people, so they know that Olivet is changing, or the perception of Olivet is changing, right? Where people are welcome and they're actually, taking these actions to make that felt. We noted updating some ordinances, the design of commissions, and then again, we talked about those the different zoning requirements, and looking at how basically where does everyone live, and is that really how you want it to be, right? The north and south divide, all of those things, and what some of the things that you can do to tackle those. In terms of training and development, We believe that cross-functional mentorship would really help you. Developing some employee resource groups, as well as the DEI training and performance and different performance evaluations that, again, embed that. Also, it's important for employees, especially who are in the minority, to see and feel like they have the opportunity to continue to grow within the organization. And as you diversify and as you have more minority groups in leadership, that will become a better perception, and the ability to reach that seems better. In terms of supplier diversity, again, you have some thoughts and some goals around that, but again, just implementing some more specific metrics and widening your reach. In terms of outreach, we noted some town halls, some maybe community conversations where you're listening and and sharing with different groups. We noted because of the different languages that are spoken within the city, maybe some translation tools, maybe even in some social media or in some newsletters. Again, those are the things that will make certain groups feel more welcome and want to be more active. And then again, identifying community partnerships. Instead of doing everything on your own from square zero, you create those community partnerships that will help you bridge those gaps, and it would really help kind of move things along. So here are a few things that we've noted in the short term. Again, we talked about different types of training. There's a suite of them around harassment. Unconscious bias is like a number one. We believe that everybody should have it. If not everybody, definitely start at the management level, because the managers and the leaders are the ones who have the most control. Same with the council, because you are the ones kind of dictating how fast the ship moves. It's important that you have this information as well. We mentioned hosting those community conversations. The exercises that we completed with you all and with the leadership, we would have loved to do more, right? Just drilling down, because every group has their own concern that, you as 2 and 3 levels away may actually not ever hear about if not from those direct conversations. And so those are some of the things we think you can do in the short term. In terms of phase 2, though, as you know, that none of this will happen quickly. So we do believe that as part of the upcoming council plans, you should implement a DEI budget with a project plan. We're seeing a lot of our clients right now do like a 3-year horizon. And in that, we kind of lay out, like I mentioned, we lay out the priorities and we say, okay, this year we're going to tackle these 5 things or these 3 things, whatever your budget and capacity allows. And then we can help identify partners to assist with different parts of the implementation. So if there are specific trainings or if there are specific needs that are identified, like, for example, if there's something, a specific area like fire or police, and they need something specific, we identify those partners to help us to address the concerns and needs in those areas. Same with department and citywide. And then again, as you go along, you just want to make sure you have timelines, milestones, data to support, and always something to shoot for, right? Because even if we don't knock it out the park each time, having the metrics will help us to get close. So that is all I think we had. Yep. You had something?
Yeah, and again, thank you all for your time this is something we're very passionate about. And again, we've been through phase one. It's important to continue with phase two and not lose the momentum here, right? There's a lot of good ideas, good thoughts. There's some specifics further in the presentation, I believe, in the appendix.
Yes.
Yeah. The appendix in the report that you'll be able to see. But again, congratulations, but don't lose the momentum.
And I know that we're hoping to have a special workshop with all of you again sometime in April.
We'll coordinate
So
with you
we
on
have-
that with the
And we'll
possible
coordinate it
times.
with you, but right now, I think there's a lot to digest here and take home and mull around, and then we'll come back at it next month.
I appreciate that. But as I read, I want to understand. So I do have
Okay.
one question.
Go ahead.
On table 3, under your key findings, documentation review,
Which page?
14. I just want to understand that these are all the documents that you reviewed in the city already that brings you to your key findings on this page and in the following pages?
Yes, so these were all documents, yes, that in working with Barbara, we received and reviewed as part of this. So we reviewed like what is documented, what was said in person, and then what was told to us via surveys. And so this is kind of a culmination
And
of
this
all.
is your review of that, of those?
Yes,
Okay, all right, thank you. Thanks, I wanted that clarity. Thank you so much.
So this isn't all from just written documentation, it's also from conversation.
correct.
Okay. Thank you.
But obviously some of the data, right, the data came from, documentation, yes.
Right,
uh-huh.
right. Okay, great.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Okay, then we'll look forward to getting back together with the 3 of you in April, or 4 of you.
All righty.
Great,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much. For those of you that are joining us for item number, I believe it's 9, number 10, we're going to ask you to bear with us for about 10 to 15 minutes because we need to get through a couple items that we can move along swiftly. So you're welcome to come in and take a seat and we'll move on to the next item.
Next item is Bill number 3000, an ordinance of the city of Olivet, Missouri that amends sections of chapter 535 sewers, Article 4 residential sanitary sewer lateral repair program policy and procedures. Second reading.
Okay, as we've discussed, this is a change to the ordinance that would increase the amount per sewer lateral repair to $6,000 and also create another category for kind of extraordinary sewer lateral repairs where they would get an extra $3,000. Those are defined as if they're more than 9 feet deep, they cross utility lines, they're in rear yards, those types of things. And so and that's the only change on this. Those are the dollar amounts.
Are there any questions or discussion? I'd be happy to
Madam Mayor,
entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve Bill 3000, an ordinance of the city of Olivet, Missouri that amends sections of chapter 535 sewers, Article 4 residential sanitary sewer lateral repair program and procedures.
Call for the vote, please.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Knox,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldman,
Yes.
Chairman Carl,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Motion passed by action of the Olivet City Council. Bill number 3000 becomes ordinance number 2771.
Thank you. Next item.
Bill number
first
3001, an
3000?
ordinance repealing section 240.100 of chapter 240 of the Olivet Municipal Code and enacting a new section 240.100 relating to waiving of fees for 5 Oaks on Morrison in the community and the city center community rooms. Second reading.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, Beverly Tucker Knight, Parks and Recreation Director. So this evening we have one of the final pieces of the fees and policies that were adopted in advance of opening Five Oaks on Warson, our new community center. I'm going to take you through very briefly the process of how we got here to remind everyone that we adopted the Parks Master Plan core tenets and used them as the guide moving forward with adopting the fees for the new community center. Connectivity, innovation, partnership, sustainability, and financial responsibility. And we want to make sure that as we set our fees and our policies, we know this is a starting point. They will evolve over time, never losing sight of the mission to create community through people, parks, and programs. So in February, we adopted the fees for the rental rates of the new center. The community room fees remained unchanged. The pavilion fees also remained the same. And then we are addressing tonight free users. So historically, we've had many groups that have had free use of our city facility. We had an aged, pretty much depreciated in value community center that afforded a lot of space and didn't have a lot of programming. So we were able to be very generous and allow a lot of groups to use that space. So over time, that dramatically kind of built, over the years. We will not have that capacity in the new center. It has very differently designed spaces and much fewer meeting rooms. So there'll be a higher frequency of use, a lot more programs, and a lot less time available for outside groups. So that's why we're here tonight talking about this. So in looking at free use patterns, we went back to pre-pandemic levels and looking at 2019 as an example, we show that we had unrealized revenue of free use that was a combined total over $200,000. So if we take those same use policies moving forward, removing the theater group that's no longer using our spaces because we don't have theater, then the projection would be almost $20,000 of free use per year. So some tough decisions had to be made. And how do we do that? So what we did is went to one of the best practices that is used on a national level for parks and recreation. And you start with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. How are we benefiting the community? And how does that translate into public policy? You start out that number one, what gives the broadest, most wonderful community benefit? And then goes up to number 5, which is something that really benefits just an individual person. And when that is translated out, here's an example from a county, San Luis Obispo, where you can see you can get very granular on how you translate that. So how would we do that in Olivet? We looked at what we offer in our programs. So things that have incredible community benefit, elections, blood drives, city-sponsored activities and programs, those have the broadest, most impactful effects on the community. And then what has the most individual benefit are private events that aren't open to the public. So you can see the rest of the things we offer are on a spectrum. So taking that information and moving forward, we have a new ordinance before you to this evening. And I also want to thank everyone that worked on this ordinance. We've had a lot of input from staff and from commissioners and from council members. So this new ordinance provides free use for government agencies or nonprofit partner organizations that will make sure that we are providing free use for things that benefit the most people in the community. We also are continuing our practice of allowing free use for neighborhood trustees. And then we also are keeping in the policy that allows groups to petition the council for free use. So your group may not automatically receive free use, but if it meets the criteria that we've always established, that if it's a public purpose and it provides substantial benefit to all of the residents, you may request free use from the city council. So this evening before you, we have a recommendation to approve this update to the ordinance. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Councilmember Waldman?
What am I gonna get in June when I ask for a room? No, that's not, no, that's not for tonight, but I need to follow up on that. So, look, I'm a trustee of the largest subdivision in St. Louis County. You have something that is showing 9 visits, and I asked you about that. You know, I'm not that trustee history. We do have 2 trustee meetings a year, but also like the city, when we have to do important things, I believe in education and information. And sometimes that means that we may have to use something more than twice. It's not just for the subdivision meeting. I'm a council member. I'm a trustee, you know. I'm really uncomfortable with putting a limit for subdivisions and trustees and homeowners associations. That is my only really big bugaboo about this whole thing.
I can address that. It can't be unlimited. And that's really the main thing is if we had the space, we could do it. But the issue is we have to set a limit on something. We had it at 1. We did it, which is what the council had suggested when we came to the community rooms here. We then increased it to 2 upon the suggestions of the commission or of the council. And I guess that what I would say if you know, the reality is here, we have more limited space. And the trustees, they are meeting at night when we have some of our programming. You know, we have found that we have very little opportunity to tell the trustees, well, can you do it at this point, at this time, or at this time? Oh, no, that doesn't work. And that's the problem we've come upon. And I would suggest that if, you know, the council wants to increase that number, you know, that's obviously the policy. It's before you, and you can increase that number. You can make a motion to amend this and increase that number. And we can give a report just like we did and show what the dollars lost on a basis or not. You can just say, this is what we want to do for the community, and we're going to make it this many. So that, you know,
So let me
it's
follow
not
up.
a question. I guess I would say it's, you know, we're presenting it. We put 2 in because we thought that it's a limited we have more limited resource now than we did before because we don't have as many rooms. And there's probably going to be we're trying to develop up, you know, more programming, et cetera. But if the council would like to change that, then I think all you need to do is make an amendment to the ordinance.
So let me respond to a couple of that. Because as you can tell, in my efforts, I have been attempting to shift to be more mindful of the city. We are now saying, yes, we would prefer it here in a community room here. Keeps it out of 5 Oaks. Yes, we're shifting our hours from instead of what it used to be, you know, later. So, I mean, we've been mindful of that as well. So to me, I don't know, you know, what are you going to use the community rooms here for? I mean, typically these trustee meetings would be on Saturday or whatever, which is what we've done Saturday or Sunday. I've indicated to you, but you know, with the new community center, what are you going to be doing with the community rooms in here on the weekends? What's here?
I have to say that I feel that the questioning of Beverly on this at this point is a little bit is hard to say. You know, if you can tell us, you know, it's like saying, what are you doing so I can't use it? And again, the policy is the council's policy. And if you want to put something in there that increases that number or increases that ability to do that, I would suggest you do it this way, but there is no way that the director of Parks and Recreation, much less the director of Public Works, can answer specific questions like that when we all know we're months out from having that building open.
How many meetings do most of the trustee groups have?
1.
And how many subdivisions do you actually get asked to do that?
Since the community rooms have opened here,
Mhm.
far fewer. We used to have around 10 to 12 a year. And in 2019, we had 3, except with the exception of Indian Meadows, because many of them moved here. It's more convenient for them, closer to where they are. And quite frankly, it's nicer. People really wanted to come here. They did not like the old community center, which we heard often. So, once you have something new, everybody wants to go there.
Mhm.
So will subdivisions want to use Five Oaks? Probably.
Mm.
It'd be more convenient, have it there.
Or
There's
the
coffee.
outlier.
I
My
can
question-
work out
My
afterwards.
question was specifically, not
Yes.
between the buildings,
Oh, between the buildings.
not
Okay.
between the buildings, like
Yeah.
just in general.
In
how
general.
many-
We would have to come back and
We'd
give you
have-
that
yeah, I'd have to
information.
bring that
We
back to
wouldn't
you.
have that because I'd have to go back and look at what, I haven't been paying attention to what's been.
Right.
Okay.
Well, may I make a suggestion? So the policy from the city council has always been 1 meeting per year for trustee groups. And we know that Indian Meadows has 2 very large meetings every year. So this ordinance changes the free use to 2 times per year. Now, that doesn't preclude a group asking the council again, could we use it? So my suggestion would be, as we've talked about during our study sessions, that for the first couple years of operation, we really need to come back annually and look at these fees, because we really need to find out how much is it going to cost to operate the center. We have a lot of, guesses right now. We have a pro forma, we've tried to make projections, but until we actually open, we don't know how much the electricity is, or the water, or the staffing. So, we need to look at it every year anyway to see, are we hitting our cost recovery targets? So part of that is looking at how much free use are we giving? So I think that my recommendation would be, we've increased it from 1 to 2, so that's a doubling in free use. See how it goes for a year. If Indian Meadows needs more uses than that, we have something in the ordinance that allows that request to be made and granted by the council. And then we track it and see, does it make sense later on to shift it or adjust it? Because you may not need that much space. You don't know. Yeah.
I will accept where we're going now, but I'm expressing
Yes.
my displeasure slightly.
And again, it's your policy.
Right.
So do we want to move forward with this tonight, or do we want to table it? I'll move forward. Okay, then I'll be happy to entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve bill 3011. Did we go from?
3001.
That's what I thought. An
It's my
ordinance-
typo. I apologize.
An ordinance repealing section 240-100 waiver of the municipal code of Olivet, of the city of Olivet, and enacting a new section in lieu thereof relating to waiving of fees for Five Oaks on Warson and the city community center rooms.
Second.
Call for the vote. Call for the vote, please.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Knox,
Yes.
Councilmember Walden,
Yes.
Chairman Carl,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Motion passed by action of the Olivet City Council. Bill number 3001 becomes ordinance number 2772.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item number 9.
Is the request to increase EMS transport charges and to add lift assist to the rate schedule.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council, Ms. Sondag. My name is Steve Carmen, Fire Chief, City of Olivet Fire Department. Medicare and Medicaid have increased the payout for EMS calls. It has been about 5 years since the last time we have increased these fees. Medicare and Medicaid have also started to pay out for lift assist, which is a new fee for us. We have worked with EMSMC, which is our third-party billing for EMS calls, to come up with the fees to stay within the parameters required. I'd like to go over the definitions real quick of the calls. ALS 2, which is a cardiac monitor, oxygen, and the use of pharmaceuticals. ALS emergency is a cardiac monitor and oxygen, possible IV. A BLS emergency would be basic, such as splints, backboards, basic treatment. Lift assist is a new charge, and the treatment and no transport. There are times that we get called out and we are using supplies such as a diabetic, if we use an IV and some glucagon, and they come around and they refuse to go to the hospital, we have to have a way to recoup those costs that we just put out in supplies. So that's why there's a treatment and no transport, because sometimes they refuse to go to the hospital after we do that. So before you is the current fee schedule, and the fee schedule we are requesting for 2023 approval. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any questions.
Are there any questions to my left?
I actually had a little conversation with him before the meeting, so no, he answered mine. And he actually provided the answers to my questions in his presentation, so thank you.
Thank you.
So I had to up my game a little bit. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I recommend a motion to approve the proposed fee increases for EMS transport and to add the lift assist charges as well.
Is that second?
Go ahead.
Say it.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Knox,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldman,
Yes.
Chairman Carl,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes,
motion passed.
Thank you.
thank you. Okay. So we're gonna, if everyone that's out in the lobby would like to come in, we're gonna move towards our recognition. But prior to that, we are gonna do hearing from, we're gonna move to 11 and 12 because they're brief. And I know that there's some people that are online that want to make some comments. So we'll do hearing from citizens. We'll approve the minutes, and then we will begin our recognition of our retiring city manager.
do Paul's report after that, or you want to do Paul's report before that?
Well, I hope there isn't one. No, I know there isn't. We'll do his at the end.
After the recognition?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, or we could do his too. Okay. So Barb's got to go down and give some hugs, or just get her jacket. So at this point in time, we're going to do hearing from citizens, and if there's anyone in the room that would like to make any comments, please raise your hand. Or and come forward. Okay, so I know there's some people online that would like to do this, and if you would like to make a comment, please raise your hand and we will bring you over. Don't be bashful. Okay, did they? Okay.
You can ask them again if you want.
Okay. Okay, then we will move forward to our next item.
Next item is review and approval of minutes.
Madam Mayor, I actually read the minutes, had a little bit of visual dyslexia dysfunction, but after I went back, I saw no errors in any of the minutes that were written, so I would gladly recommend approval of all the meeting minutes, the special meeting minutes that are on our agenda tonight as written.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Knox,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldman,
Yes.
Chairman Carl,
Yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
motion passed.
And then Mr. Martin, do you have a report for us this evening? Do we have a closed session? Thank you, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so now we would like to invite our retiring city manager, Barbara Sondag. We're gonna come down to the podium and we're gonna make a couple room adjustments. And before I do that, I do want to recognize our welcome 3 visitors. We have Catherine with us this evening, who is Barb's wife, and we have Glenda and Zoe, her sisters. So we just really appreciate they drove in from Illinois. And we see past employees here this evening. and we see commission members and past council members. And it's really special. And as each of you walk by the door, Barb's face would light up and then get back to the meeting and light up and get back to the meeting. So with no further ado, we're gonna invite everyone, all the council members and Barb down to the podium. Okay. So Barb just said you can't have a celebration without a proclamation. So we're all gonna come. So come over here because the proclamation's over there, but you won't hear us. So come in between us. Come on, Barb, get up here.
She boss you, what?
So, Barb didn't want a lot of hoopla and attention, but we can't just let her slip off to Maine without paying a little bit of, stop sneaking back there without giving her a little love. And so it's a proclamation that's before her that she'll have to find a wall for. Says proclamation recognizing the contributions of Barbara Sondag. Whereas we are here today to express our appreciation to Barbara Sondag and honor her for a distinguished career with the city of Olivet and
this is where all the whereas stuff comes, okay? Whereas Barbara Sondag began her city manager tenure July 29th, 2013, and has been with Olivet's champion for 10 years. Her love and dedication of service will be forever imprinted on the fabric of our city. And whereas nowhere has the sense of commitment and accomplishment been more evident than with her exemplary dedication to the best interests of the community and leading a cadre of outstanding city employees that make the city run every hour, every day. And I have to get back to a cadre. I like that, dollar words. Okay, whereas during her tenure with the Olivet population and city of vision expanded and conditioned that demanded an incredibly creative and thoughtful effort to efficiently balance growth with respecting an existing community. And whereas
Whereas Barbara coordinated significant capital projects, including 13.5 million city center bond right here, the 16.2 million park renovation and community center bond, approval of the city's first plan. Approval of the city's first planned development district, a dynamic 14.8 acre mixed use center, adoption of the Olivet Boulevard conceptual master plan, and champion the catalyst strategy that led to $3 billion in redevelopment along Olivet Boulevard. Point three, all right. I had no opportunity to prepare for this. Whereas under her leadership, Olivet's Police Department turned international accreditation to the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, known as CALIA, providing the Olivet citizens the highest level of police service by meeting nationally set standards of police excellence. And whereas Barbara provided invaluable leadership and guidance On significant challenges, including effectively managing Olivet through a global pandemic, strengthening fiscal policies and core economic, and recognizing the Olivet divide, and striving to bridge it through engagement and resources, and whereas
Whereas the level of commitment and service brought to Olivet by Barbara Sondag is a new benchmark. And positions Olivet as a city not only prepared for the future, but able to fully embrace the future. And whereas Barbara's intelligence, humor, visionary thinking, camaraderie, and most importantly, her integrity are her trademarks. And we will be finally remembered by residents, elected officials, and employees. And whereas, on behalf of the entire city council, I want to recognize Barbara for an amazing 32-year career in public service, and thankfully, the last 10 in Olivet, Missouri.
Therefore, be it resolved that I, Maxine Weil, Mayor of the City of Olivet, and on behalf of the entire Olivet City Council, do hereby proclaim March 27th, you're reading my notes, March 27th to 31st, 2023 as Barbara Sondag Week. Woo! In the city of Olivet, and express our appreciation and gratitude to Barbara on behalf of the entire city council, employees, businesses, and the residents we serve, and hereby congratulate her on an outstanding career with the city of Olivet and wish her every happiness in her exciting new chapter. Presented this day, March 28th, of the day of March. Oh, so this is okay. Presented this 28th day of March, 2023. And I butchered that. So.
Madam Mayor, Madam Mayor, Madam Mayor,
Yes,
can
you're
I,
not up yet.
can I say something?
You're not up yet. Didn't you
Well,
read the agenda?
Please.
Yes, you may
I
go
did.
next. Oh, Missy was next. Mixie's next. You're in a few minutes. Hold
Okay.
tight.
don't take my 9 pages.
Okay. The council's getting in the order.
Okay. There's gonna be a point where I'm gonna get a little choked up and you'll notice it. So before I really start, I want to signify March 28th. I'm a geek. I admit it. In 2017, on March 28th, former council member and Mayor Ruth Springer held the first city council meeting in this chamber. Today, we're celebrating Barb's retirement and her last day in this chamber for a city council meeting. But 10 years ago, the city was looking for a new city manager with an art for tackling challenges and creating a work environment where there's trust, cooperation, risk-taking, accountability, and fun doing the job. We told each applicant we're a city of highly educated and highly opinionated citizens. Each applicant got a 20-minute tour of the city. Barb's tour was over an hour because the council didn't give me the map until 15 minutes before the first. Each heard about the North-South divide. Each heard about the history and failed efforts to implement Olivet strategic plan since 1969. Each heard about the contentious times and the failed Walmart development. In the end, Olivet hired Barbara Sondag. 10 years have gone by so fast. I didn't know she was a runner, but Barb hit the ground running, starting with the task of helping the council to get the Old Bottom sidewalk improvement done or face losing and paying back federal dollars. Barb's talent for hiring employees and rallying employees of Olivet to take on more responsibility and do it with a collaborative, diverse workforce, always encouraging them to think outside the box for the solutions. It says a great deal about the caliber of our employees today. Barb's 10 years includes controversial issues. Orson Park, Save Our Parks. Better Together. Amendment 3, and the unforeseen pandemic COVID-19. For the community, the achievements of today are forever memorialized under Barbara Sondag city manager era. They include Turkey Trot, our city government building, our community center, 5 Oaks on Warsaw, improvements to our parks, redevelopment along Olive Boulevard with the Oliver, Plant Haven, Firestone, Olive Crossing, and Easy Storage, plus the revitalization of Merriam School Complex and Dillman Road improvements are visible accomplishments in other areas of our community. And coming soon, Opus development and townhomes across from the city center. There is no I in the word team. I'm reminded of that every day. It takes a team to achieve success. It takes an astonishing manager to encourage the team to keep their eyes on the prize and to keep us out of the weeds until now. As of April 4th, 2023, your job 24/7 is being there for your family and being home for your grandson's birthday in April. Enjoy it all. You've earned it. Catherine Porterfield, thank you. Being the wife of a lifetime public servant and Olivet city manager for the past 10 years, it's not easy. Being grandma together from this day forward is. Barbara Sondag, you're extraordinarily talented. You're brave, bold, courageous, fierce, strong, determined, inspired, and loved. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your maturity, wisdom, and knowledge. Thank you for putting an indelible mark on this fine city we call Olivet. Thank you for elevating the employees to a warm and welcoming environment. We will make sure these values continue as you and Catherine enter a new chapter of life together, and the city enters a new chapter as well. Congratulations.
You know it's coming. You know it's coming. So won't be any tears for me, I promise you this. Only crying I'm gonna do is knowing that you're not gonna be there to make sure our meetings are in line and the mayor doesn't talk too long. Like I said, I have nothing profound to say other than thank you. You were the best that I've seen at managing the managers, okay? Barb, you knew how to corral us and kept us on track when things started getting out of hand. You kind of put us back in line so we didn't digress too much. For that, I say thank you. You have been the shepherd of the flock, and that includes these fine people here in this building and also council members behind this podium as well. And for that, I say thank you. You were gentle on our egos while we were trying to build airplanes in the sky. You were also kind enough to help us to come back to the ground and realize where we could do things and where we shouldn't do things. You were compassionate when needed, and you were strong when expected. And for that, I say thank you. You took a lot of abuse from people, sometimes on the outside of this building and sometimes right here inside of this building. But even with the butt kicking that you took, you still maintain your strong professional poise that only the best can do. And for that, I say thank you. You have been a great leader. You have been a confidant, and you have been a friend to the city of Olivet and to this council. You are going to retire now. You've worked your butt off for it, and you deserve it. I am happy for you. And with that, I say, I'll miss you.
Now it's your turn, Rick.
Okay, I'm not one of those was as or whatever you guys were talking about just a minute ago. But as we all go through life, where'd she left? Where'd she go? Oh, there she is. As we all go through life, we meet thousands of people. And every once in a while, we meet someone special. And I have to say that Barb Sondag is one of those special people that came in not only to my life, but to all of our lives, to the entire community, the staff. Barb, you're a real jewel. You are special, and you've left your mark on this city. You've done a job well done, and we all love you, and we will continue to love you. And you're, I don't know, is that how you do this? The love, yeah, that. I appreciate everything you've done for me. And we've, as a team, like Missy said, we've accomplished a lot of that stuff, but you were driving the boat. So I appreciate it. I love you and wish you all the best into that retirement year. It's good. Check's coming this Friday, so I'm very excited. And continue to march and enjoy those babies. And it's been great knowing you and knowing Catherine and your sisters and your family, and just enjoy it. It's good stuff. So thank you very much.
Fan club's here.
What'd you say?
Whole fan club is here, if you can hear Glenda.
Oh, the fan club. Oh, geez. Very good. Very good. Hi, guys. Okay.
Okay, well, Barb has experienced some of my performance reviews, and I tend to like to go through all the minutes of the whole year and see what was accomplished and be very methodical about it. And I did that for the last 10 years for Barb. And I wrote this very long speech that had more accomplishments than Missy had, okay? And now I left it at home apparently. So you're gonna be lucky. This is gonna be really short. Gonna be off the top of my head, and I hope I express everything I want to. So number one, Barb, I have just been amazed at your managerial skills, your just everything that everyone has all gone on about. You are one of the most amazing managers I have seen in my career. And I did work for a larger company, so I had some exposure to good and bad managers both. You're just fantastic. But you're deciding to bring that to the end of your career, and you have left this place way better than you came here with. Okay, it is just a wonderful place. You have my utmost honor and admiration for your accomplishments. But I know you're moving on to a life now. You're going to take it a little easier. And I know one of the things, but I believe you'll probably decide to do other things, and I wish you success in those endeavors. But I think your first endeavor is going to be your grandchildren. And I just want you to let you know that I am the oldest grandchild on both sides of my family with all 4 grandparents. So if you want hints on how to spoil grandchildren, tell me. Okay? All right. So with that, I've got to, I bid you farewell, and please come back and visit us. Thank you.
When I reflected on my personal comments to Barb tonight upon her retirement, I thought of the first time I was sworn in as a council member. Afterwards, you invited me to have breakfast with you the following week at Olivet Diner. And during our breakfast, in the conversation that morning, you asked me what I wanted my legacy to be and how could you be helpful to me in achieving those goals. At that time, I assumed you would be here long after me. So I never contemplated what your legacy would be. And as I look around the city of Olivet and all the progress over the past 10 years, and as we sit in this beautiful city center tonight and digest all the items just mentioned in your proclamation, one cannot deny that you have created an incredible legacy during your tenure here. You have made a difference in so many lives, and I am grateful that one of them was mine. During these past 9 years, I have learned a great deal from you as an individual, as a city manager, as a family member, as a mother, a grandmother, and a friend. As you begin this new chapter in your life, I hope you'll remember your years as the city manager of Olivet fondly, and that you will be proud of all your accomplishments and stay connected. And now I believe we have we have another presentation before that. I almost jumped ahead to something. So if the council members are going to come stand here, I don't know, is this easy to move? They're to come stand there with, oh, don't worry about it. No, we're good. Yeah. But it's very free. Just go stand on both sides with Barb. Don't unveil anything. No, no. No, this isn't that yet. Nope. Hold tight. No, that's after the. Just go stand up there. No, right there. Okay. There. Okay. When Barb shared with the city council that she would be retiring in April, I think our first question was which year? And then when we all came out of our denial, we talked about how to best honor Barbara Sondag for an amazing 10-year tenure here in Olivet. We knew we wanted to give you a gift from the city council, as the 5 of us have worked closely with Barb as the city manager. We have learned from her season after season. She is an excellent role model and mentor for her staff and for each of us. The council at different times during our terms of put that up. We have learned from her season after season. She is an excellent role model and mentor for her staff and with each of us, the council, at different times during our terms of public service. You heard in the proclamation all that has been accomplished during her time in Olivet, but what you don't know is that the partnership she has built with the city council members is invaluable. And many of the city council members that have worked with her are here tonight. Barb can assess a situation and share a variety of perspectives. She adds her humor into stressful situations when appropriate, and always holds herself to a high standard of excellence and has shared her incredible work ethic with the council, the staff, and the residents. We knew that commissioning Marion Steen, now the unveiling, not only a local artist, but a dear friend, would be very meaningful to Barb upon her retirement. We specifically spoke with Marion about the season that Barb has spent here in Olivet. Each of these individual watercolored collages represents a different season that you have spent here. So to the far left is winter, then spring, summer, and fall. As Rick Knox would say, you're going to Maine, so it's winter, 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 fall. We hope that the vibrant colors of winter, spring, summer, and fall will always bring you warmth and wonderful memories of your time in Olivet. We look forward to your visiting in the summer, as our intention is to have a ribbon cutting on Five Oaks on Worthen. In the fall, for our 10th anniversary of the Turkey Trot, and for many future seasons. We wish you and Catherine joyous adventures in the seasons yet to come, as you are surrounded by your grandchildren, by your children and grandchildren. Best wishes for happiness, love, laughter in your retirement. And now you can sit down in the front row and watch. We have one more short presentation from the council, and then it's adjournment and off to refreshments. So if the other council members would come forward. Rick, we didn't know if you'd be here tonight, so you just smile pretty in the background, okay?
You're the good looks of the group.
Sydney?
Recently at the Coffee with Mayor, you were asked what your first impressions upon arrival 10 years ago. You mentioned the Olive Divide and talked about how you knew then that the connectivity within Olivet was going to be vital to our community.
Thus, when selecting a retirement gift for you from the city of Olivet, we chose a bench to be placed on the north side of Olivet in one of our strategic locations for connectivity. We chose a bench because a bench represents a place where residents can stop together and visit along our pathways. It is also a place one can sit and reflect. You have taught us the importance of both and taking time out of our daily lives to make room for others, communicate openly, and build community, and take time to reflect.
Top of the bench will be engraved with the following quote. If you go out and make good things happen, you will fill the world with hope. We thought this was a fitting quote by Barack Obama. The bottom of the bench will be engraved in appreciation of Barbara Sondag, Olivet City Manager 2013 to 2023.
The gift is presented to you on behalf of the city of Olivet and through contributions of our residents in our community. We wish you good health good times, but most of all, fulfillment in all of your future endeavors.
We'll go back. Well, this is overwhelming. Thank you. This is why I didn't want to really have anything to. Thank you so much. Thank you, Marion. I love your work of art. Yep, she's not paying attention. It's okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Time has flown. It's been a really fast 10 years and I've really enjoyed being here. Moving to St. Louis, back to St. Louis, it was nice. I was been with my family, my sister and brother and being able to watch the nieces and nephews has been great. And that's going to be, I'm leaving and I'll be missing them. But I'll also be missing the residents here. Because you've got a great city. You've got good residents. I mean, we laugh about the residents that complain, but it's rarely ugly or mean or, it's just the normal stuff, and thank you to the council and all the council members that I've had in the past. It's been an honor to work with all of you. I said, I think it was my sister Glenda uses the term God wink when something's kind of coincidence or, it's a God wink. And I've said that it's not a God wink that I had 5 council members and I'm going to be going to 5 grandchildren. I feel like I'm prepared. Turn on your microphone, Elias. So it's been fun. And to the staff, I love the people I work with. It's been really fun and it's been kind of a transformation when I started. To people who are new here, people who've worked only in this building don't really know what it was like in the old building when you heard everybody's conversations and you walk through and everything and and it was different. And then we moved here and we were really spread out and it was kind of like, oh, how do we make sure we still get together? And then we got together and then the pandemic happened, coincidence. And, and now we're just kind of really getting back to having those group celebrations and the meals and, when we started, in the fire bay and we finally moved back into the community rooms and things. But the staff here really, you've got a really good group of people working here. They get along and, as we heard, tonight, I'm excited for the city as you embark on the diversity, equity, inclusion, kind of really putting into practice those things. I'm excited for you, and we've seen some of the things that, that we have to face, and work through. And I have no doubt that will happen. I have no doubt that we won't be better in the end. So thanks for the bench, but I can't take it with me. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay, just checking that. That's great. All right. That's right. I have to come here. It's okay. Well, there'll be a fee for the bench. If anybody who says there'll be a little donation bucket by it. No. No, thank you all. Thank you everybody for coming. It's like, I was like, where are you at? No, you don't need to have anything. And then it's like, people don't want to stay up that late. And but thank you all. Thank you everyone for coming too. I really greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
You need to take a minute just to adjourn the meeting. Can we do it from here? Okay. But prior to adjourning, I want to share, the bench is not just from the residents. It is, there's residents that have contributed. There are employees that have contributed. A lot of the commissioners have contributed. It's just, the city council members have contributed. I mean, it's really it's really symbolic of the love that people feel for you, so. Really. So, I would be happy to entertain a motion for adjournment. We're adjourned.